Here we go. So guys, today I'm going to do another one of those lists that I did last week. So I put another poll up on my Facebook page, and this time I asked people to pick 10 cards in no particular order. Just pick 10 cards that you think are top 10 free reward cards in this game. And what that does is that naturally creates a top 10 list, right? The cards that were selected more will be higher. Cards that people don't select will be lower. And I think this is maybe one of the most surprising lists we've done. And I'm going to put a bit of a spin on it this week, because I'm going to tell you where I would have ranked those cards as well. Before we get into all of that, guys, please like and subscribe. We are like a handful of subs away from 800, which is crazy considering we kind of started this in December. So thank you again to everyone who subscribed. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for everyone who stopped by on the streams. We're streaming on Thursday for this week's guest announcements. The first time we've got 2 people on the podcast. That's awesome. And if you haven't caught last week's podcast, go back and check it. Dropped on Saturday this week, and we had Killsamoy on, who dropped some incredible knowledge, especially if you're an up-and-coming YouTuber. But let's get into today's video. So I'm gonna start with a few different cards that didn't actually make the top 10 list, and I'm gonna touch on them because either they're controversial or they're cards that I put in the top 10 list. So we'll get into that. So the first card, interestingly, is Pau Gasol. Now, if you did watch the podcast, you would have seen a heated debate between me and Josh about whether this guy is a good card, whether Pau is a good, usable card. The answer is yes, he's usable, but I found it really interesting that the community on that Facebook poll, everyone could have selected him as a top 10 card. He came in 11th, so he didn't even break the top 10 in terms of free cards. And that's what's great about this list, because we've got a mix of people in that group. We've got sort of new players, you know, experienced players, comp players. There's a huge mix of over 300 people voting on these polls. And, you know, objectively, subjectively, as I was corrected last week, you know, people have decided he's not even a top 10 card in the game. Whereas we were literally having arguments about whether he might be the best center in the game. And I agree with this. I didn't have him in my top 10 either. He just has issues. That 84 speed is hard to get over at this point in the game. It really is. That release, which was supposed to be quick, very quick, sorry, it's awkward. The release is awkward. The lack of showtime on not only on Hall of Fame, but at all. Like, no showtime. You've got to equip it on him. I just don't think this Pau can compete. And I know people like him. I do know that. But both myself and the entire community that voted on this poll didn't put him in the top 10. And I personally think that's the right move. I don't think he's a top 10 card. The next one I want to get onto is Brandon Roy, because he also didn't make the top 10. But this one is way out of left field, because he came 16th in this poll. I do not understand how Brandon Roy doesn't even make the top 15. Just for what it's worth, I have him at number 8. And one of the things with this poll is sometimes cards can rank lower, especially things like unlimited rewards, because people just haven't used them, right? But the problem is both John Wall and Wes Unseld, who come from the same place Brandon Roy does, which is the Spotlights, did make the top 10. So people are just sleeping on this card. Just to be clear, he's got Showtime, range, clamps, all on Hall of Fame, and he's got T-Max release, which is just something you can't ignore. For me, he's definitely a top 10 card, but the community decided, and I'm passing on the message. Another one that missed out on the top 10, he came 13th, is Cedric Maxwell. Now, again, that's a surprise for me. I had him at number 5. To me, Cedric is the 5th best free card in the game. He came 13th on this list. Now, this one I do understand, because, you know, not a lot of people have him. I didn't even get him myself. You know, Notorious God was playing on my account and got him. But I'm glad he did, because he is, first and foremost, one of the most fun cards to use. His jump shot's only an 85, but it's one of the quickest releases I've ever used in this game. He's got Pro 2, Showtime, clamps. He's a great card. Honestly, for me, he's definitely a top 5 free card in the game, but community voted him at number 13. Another card I want to touch on because he made my top 10, in fact, he came in at number 10 for me, is Ray Allen. The community voted him at number 12. This is a surprising one for me because I think Ray Allen, I think there's cards on the list which Ray Allen is an updated version of. So I don't entirely understand this one. Obviously, he's got 97 3-ball. He's got Ray Allen's release, which is easily one of the top 5 releases in the game. And, you know, relevant later in the video as well, because another card has it. He's got Pro 2. He's even got, you know, a high driving dunk. Like, I mean, he's a good card. I mean, there's not a lot he's missing. Playmaking is a bit of an issue. And sure, he could do with some Huff badges. But that release is just hard to ignore. And like I said, when you chuck Pro 2 and you know, his ability to create his own shot, to me, he's number 10, but I would understand. Like, I wouldn't argue if someone left him out of their top 10. I just really like the card. But he came in 12th on this list. So let's get into the top 10, guys. At number 10 was Anton Jameson. Now, for me, he doesn't make my top 10 list. I kind of understand why people voted for him. offensively, he's just jacked, right? He's an amazing card offensively, but defensively, he's just got problems. His defense is poor. I mean, he cannot compete with the sort of power forwards that are in the game right now, I think. The kind of lack of playmaking badges in general. I mean, I just don't know about this card. The best thing about the card is the jumper, that Dante XM base, the mellow upper. You know, Pro 1, I mean, it's just, he's okay. He's okay. I don't think he's a top 10 free card in the game anymore. But, you know, if your kind of meta is, you know, cheesing threes, you know, zigzagging up the court and just spotting up for threes, I mean, you can knock down threes with this card all day. I don't call him Chicken Man for nothing. But is he a top 10 card for me? Probably not. But community says he's number 10. At number 9 is Donovan Mitchell. Now, this is a weird one because he didn't make my top 10 list. But actually having evaluated it now, I'm not sure. Maybe I should have put him in my top 10. I mean, he has one flaw, which I'll touch on in a second. But he came number 9. The jump shot he's got is actually really good. Jump shot 4 is a good jumper. You can see here, Devin Booker has it. Bobby Jones, I was knocked down with him. Hal Greer was great as well. So he has got a good jumper. It is on quick. But his badges, I mean, I was kind of taken back by it, to be honest, a little bit. He's got range, clamp, showtime, deadeye, intimidator, quick first step, heart crusher, all of that stuff, all on Hall of Fame. And, you know, his stats are great as well. His stats are great. Tendencies are pretty good as well, like, especially defensively. Like, I don't really know why I've been sleeping on this card. Looking at it, it makes me want to give it another chance. You know, 98 speed, 94 three-point shot, 97 speed with ball. The one reason that I left him off my list is he's 6'1", but is that enough to, especially when he's got a 6'10" wingspan? I mean, that's Navarro's wingspan. Is that enough of an issue to kind of compensate for all of this? Because actually, I think I might have been sleeping on him. Retrospectively, I might have put Donovan over Ray Allen. That's where I'm at. But he's at number 9. At number 8, we've got Clyde Drexler. I had him at number 7, so this isn't crazy to me. I think this is roughly where he belongs. Again, he's got Pro 2. That jump shot, once you get used to it, my goodness me. I mean, there's not really any players like McAdoo was okay. Not any players that have had it, but for some reason, when you get used to that jumper, because for the first 3-4 times I used him, I couldn't hit with him, and then I locked in on his jumper, and now I cannot miss with him. I mean, he's truly an amazing card. Again, a similar thing to kind of what I said about Cedric. He's just a fun card to use. I mean, you know, good speed, incredible driving dunk. Like, he's got a lot going on for him, this card. Like, 98 driving dunk. And then in the badges as well, you know, Showtime, Clamps, Heart Crusher. Like, he's got a lot of good badges. Kind of missing that one key badge in terms of half range, but he has it on gold. And he does knock down. For me, just a big thing about Clyde, he's just a super, super fun card to use. 6'7", great height for shooting guard. Like, he's good. He just is good all round. Really good free card. He's up there with one of the best free cards they've released. At number 7, we've got Dwayne Wade. Now, he's not on my top 10 list anymore. This is the one I'm struggling with probably the most. I don't really understand why D-Wade is still considered a top 10 card in the game. You know, his jump shot's an 88. I mean, you can see there's just issue. Look at his rebounding, things like that. I know he's a point guard, interior defense 70, strength 75. I mean, even his jumper is a problem. D-Wade has the best jumper in the game, but it's on normal. You know, his animations are okay. That Pro 3 behind the back is definitely my favorite behind the back. It's the magic one, I think. I might be wrong. Yeah, it is the magic one. And, you know, he could burn a defender on the ISO, but I mean, just dated, isn't he? He's just dated. Look at his badges. I mean, there's nothing really. I mean, he doesn't even have half range. You know, he's got half clamps, which is probably his best badge. Quick first steps, good. But outside of that, I mean, no showtime. I don't see how Wade could be considered the seventh best free card in the game anymore. I think this is probably the most out of left field kind of voting that we got. I don't know if it's because a lot of people have him or what, but I cannot explain why he's so high on this list, because yeah, 7 is way too high. Considering I had Clyde at 7, it really shows you I don't think those cards are comparable, and I don't think Wade is even close to being ahead of Clyde on this list, to be honest. At number 6, it was Donald. Now, I voted him at number 6 as well, so we're in sync for this one. That's really cool. He's got that Derrick Rose Rudy jumper, I think. Is it Derrick Rose? Yeah, it is. I cannot miss with that shot. Guys, Donald's back on the boards now. Go get him. He's still my backup point guard. I'm starting Luka. I would be happy to run Don over Luka. I'm actually greener with Don than I am with Luka, just to put it in perspective. It might be the best jumper in the game, honestly. It might be the best jumper in the game. I know that's not a cool thing to say, because there are 3 or 4 jumpers at base 98, etc. But honestly, it's so green. Again, he's got Pro 2. No problems there. He's got clamps. He's got intimidator. He's got range. Again, quick first step. Floor general as well. Like some really good badges. Just missing that that one Showtime kind of badge. I think that's it really. Being on gold is not great. But yeah, I mean, 98 speed as well for this card. He is great. Honestly, he's great. He's 6'3", which is fine. I think height is less of an issue this year. Dono is really good. Like, he is really, really good. For me, he could have been higher. I voted him at 6 as well, but I easily could have put him higher on this list. Easily. Right, at number 5, we've got John Wall. And I think this is a good take. Again, I had him at number 4. I haven't got him yet. I'm going to get him probably today or tomorrow. But again, I think it's a good take. He's Pro 2. I don't really know his jumper because he's the only one that's got it apart from Gary Payton. But I will check it out. And from what I've seen playing against it, people are greening with him pretty consistently. In terms of his badges, you just cannot knock it. I mean, he's got everything. He's got everything. Showtime, range, Dimer as well. Quick first step, even playmaking badges, floor general there. Clamps, Heart Crusher, Interceptor, Intimidator. He's got everything you need. I mean, and his stats are just jacked. Absolutely jacked. 99 speed. I mean, it's insane, to be honest. It genuinely is insane. 98 driving dunk as well. 96 3 ball. I mean, they're all at 99. And he's got Pro 2 as well. I'm really looking forward to using this John Wall. And I feel like when I use him, I might move him up. I put him at number 4 because I haven't used him. The community put him at number 5. They have used him. But I think once I use him, he'll move up. I think that's where I'm at. At number 4 is another surprise to me. I might not surprise a lot of people. It's Terry Dishinger. Why does it surprise me? I just think he's a bit outdated now. I had him at number 9 on my list. I think anywhere between sort of 5 and 10 is where he belongs. I think 4 is way too high for this card now. It was a lot of fun when he came out, trying to get him and all of that stuff. And he's still a good card, don't get me wrong. He is still a good card. He's got that Rudy base. He's got Pro 2. Good badges as well. Showtime. He's got range. Intimidator, but again, defensively, gold clamps. I'm really starting to feel like gold clamps is starting to feel really outdated. He's missing a lot of badges. If you badge him out, maybe you could put him in the top 5. But if you don't badge him out, I just don't see how you can anymore. There's just better cards. I'd put Don all over him. I'd put John Wall over him. I'd put Clyde over him. Like, easily. These Cedric as well. I think these are easy ones. I think Roy is better than him as well, Brandon Roy. I think this is really, really easy to kind of look at this and go, Terry isn't a top 5 card in the game anymore. At number 3, we've got Wes Unseld. Now, I had him at number 2. So this is close. The top 3, actually, I have the same top 3, but they're in a different order. Wes was, like, comfortably number 3 as well, by the way. There was a big gap between him and Terry, which is good, I think. Wes has got Zion's jumper, which, I've been using that Diamond Zion for ages. He's got Pro 2 at power forward, which for me is just massive. Badge-wise, again, he is just jacked. Like, his stats are great across the board. He's not bad at anything. Even 97 rebound, 93 speed, 95 driving down. I mean, 93 3 ball. Everything is 99 with the shoe and the coach. So almost with just a coach. But yeah, you get into his badges. It's unparalleled, I think, at the moment. Apart from maybe one card. Showtime, catch and shoot, corner specialist, range extender, dimer, unpluckable, quick first step, clamps, heart crusher, intimidator, rebound chaser, pogo. I mean, he is a beast. The only drawback, and literally the only drawback, is he's 6'7". But I think in some ways that isn't a drawback because it allows him to have the Pro 2 at power forward, which to me is a game changer. So I had him at number 2, community had him at number 3. I think either of those spots is fine. At number 2, the community voted Kawhi Leonard. Now, I'm not going to argue this. I had him at number 3. I think Wes is better than him. I'm just going to say that's like splitting hairs at this point. We know Kawhi at this point. Pro 2, badge-wise, he's got Showtime, Clamps, Intimidator, Range, Heart Crusher, all of these badges that you need. Ray Allen jumper is great. He's still really jacked as a card. Like, he is. I don't think he's in any way outdated. I think he can still compete. His rebounding is an issue for me, and I've spoken about it before. This really does show through in game. But outside of that, guys, I mean, look at his defensive tendencies. I mean, he's still a top 3 card. I mean, you cannot make an argument, I think, that Kawhi isn't a top 5 free card. I think 2 to 5, maybe you could make that argument. But outside of that, he is still a very, very good card. And if you have badged him up and if you have put shoes on him, I think he's still going to be relevant for a few more weeks, if not a month or 2. At number 1, guys, this is no surprise. Both me and the community voted D-Rob, which is interesting because in the last list we did, which was like the best cards in the game, D-Rob came in at number 4. I think more people have got him now, and that's what's interesting about these lists. I'm literally not going to waste your time, guys. This card has everything. It literally has everything, and we all agree he's the best card in the game, and it's not even close. KG, whatever, like, it's not close. D-Rob is an absolute beast. That release is devastatingly good. You know, he's got Pro 3 as well. Like, he's got good dribble animations. Like, he hasn't got Pro 2, but he's got the next best thing. And his badges are just over the top. His stats are over the top. He's unstoppable. This card is unstoppable. However you want to use D-Rob, he can do it all. He can literally do it all. So that's it, guys. That's the list. I found it fascinating. The way people rank these cards. There's a lot I didn't agree with. And there's probably a lot of you that don't agree with my takes as well. So now's a good time to leave a comment and let me know what's up. But guys, please like and subscribe as always. We'll do another one of these lists next week. But until next time, thanks for watching, guys.